Hello then, welcome to another edition of the Midday Brief. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Over the next 60 minutes, here are some stories to expect. Ghana Water Company Limited says it will not compensate victims of the Wager Dam spillage, and residents at risk of flooding are hesitant to relocate as advised by authorities. Also to come, over 200 illegal Chinese miners in the country appeal to the Immigration Service not to arrest them because they are prepared to return home. And Cabinet submits an Anti-Terrorism Act to Parliament for approval to ensure government punishes or freezes the access of individuals or groups engaged in terror-related items. We also bring you up to speed on what's been happening around the world and in sports, as well as some wellness tips in this edition of the Midday Brief. When I return, I'll bring you some detail. Now, the Ghana Urban Water Company Limited has indicated it will soon spill water at the Wager Dam. It explains the move has become necessary as a steady rise in the water in the dam's reservoir with the onset of the rainy season, as it is threatening the facility. Now, Joy News Fuswa Jemfi, who visited the site, however, reports residents likely to be affected by the spillage are reluctant to evacuate.
Residents living in and around the Wager treatment plant have had to contend with the seasonal rains and the spillage of excess water annually. These communities are the most threatened once the spill gates are opened. As of last Saturday, the level of water at the dump was 42 feet high, but in the space of 3 days, the level of water has risen to 46 feet high. The Ghana Water Company says the steady rise in the water level means spillage is imminent.
We are giving prior notice because we wouldn't be able to tell. Now the level is 47 feet, and that is also the maximum operating level. Okay, so if there are shocks within the dam, then it means we need to spill. And I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 6 to 24 hours it will start spilling, because even if you look at the weather, you could tell that it's raining upstream, and there's a possibility of us spilling any moment from now.
While some of the residents fully aware of what lies in store with the opening of the floodgates are making preparations to stay clear as has been advised, others will rather wait for the worst.
It happened before, but now at this moment, if it happens, we have to find a way of going. Either we'll go or we'll stay. We'll stay. But because we didn't have any place to go, it's Accra. We are from far away, came here, so we can't go back to our distance. All our works are here, so we have to live here.
But still, the table see inside one.
What they can do to help us here is to widen the drain here and have a permanent drain flowing downwards into the river.
Edmond Kujo is the assemblyman for the Oblogo electoral area.
It's a river defense that we have made so far. When the rain is coming, then we open. When the river is coming, then we close it. I'm appealing to Ghana Water Company. You should spill it in the night. By 6 o'clock time, everybody is awake, and when we start something coming, and then we know how best we can solve the problem.
The communities are meanwhile appealing to government to help complete the temporary defense structure started as a permanent solution to the perennial problem.
Now, the Ghana Water Company Limited says it cannot pay compensation to residents living around the Wager Dam who have been advised to evacuate the area. The company plans to spill excess water from the dam any moment from now and has asked residents living in affected communities to evacuate to avoid disaster. But the residents have rejected the warning, demanding compensation before they relocate. But the Ghana Water Company says it cannot pay any compensation. Its communications manager Stanley Mate has directed that affected residents should go to the district assemblies for compensation if they have permits for putting up such structures. So now Stanley Mate is joining us on the Midday Brief with an update on the situation at the Wager Dam. Good afternoon, Stanley.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What is the level of water now?
We have
very close to 47 feet, and as I'm speaking with you, I'm sure by close of day we should be hitting 47 feet.
Come again.
I'm saying that we are very, very close to 47 feet, and I'm sure by close of day we should be hitting 47 feet.
And it's at 47 feet that you should open the dam gates to spill excess water. Have the people moved from there? Have they heeded to your calls now to move away?
Yes, we have been in the area. Some people have moved. There are some recalcitrant people who still are there. And then whatever they are hoping for, I don't know. But there are some people still there. But I can't speak for sure that some people have evacuated the area.
So by close of day, how much water should we have looked at coming out of the dam? How much water would you be spilling?
It's very difficult for me to tell you the volumes of water that will be spilling, because we have 5 gates and we'll be spilling at some interval, some specific interval, and based on the inflows. Okay, so it is such that we will start with the spilling of 1 gate at 1 inch level, and if there are still more inflows, okay, or if the rate of inflow is higher than the outflow, then it means that the level will still be going up. So then we'll add a second gate also at, let's say, 1 inch level, and then after the third gate, we will be increasing the inch levels. Okay, so that let's say from 1 inch to 2 inches or to 3 inches, based on the level of inflows. Okay, so that the rate of inflow should be equal to the rate of outflow, so that we'll still be able to maintain the volumes of water within the dam.
So, if we are at 47 feet now, how much? What is the maximum feet that the water should be? So it's 47, and then you spill some water. What is the acceptable level that it should be at?
Yes, the maximum operating level or the acceptable level is 47 feet. Okay, so at 47 feet, it is manageable. So when they start going beyond 47 feet, then we need to spill the excess water. Okay, so we'll be spilling the excess water and trying to maintain the level at 47, such that if there are more inflows,
right,
for the level to be rising more than the 47, they will still be increasing the outflow, so that we'll maintain the level at 47. There should be that equilibrium or a balance at 47, so that we'll maintain the stability of the dam.
Right, and so we understand that the spillage could affect up to 7 communities. Which communities are we looking at?
We're looking at Tetegu, Lower, Makati Hill, Weja, Oblogo, and Pambros area, and then yes, those are the areas. So the salt factory. Mm-hmm.
When the water is spilled, should we look at a knee level, feet level, a total submerge? What would it look like when the gates are finally opened with all the intervals you have explained?
We will be managing it as I said initially. But the thing is, if the rate of inflows are quite high, then the gates will be opened, and it's likely that it will the wings of the waterway could increase, and it could go to higher levels. Last year, for instance, even during the minor rainy season when we had to spill, it went to about half the level of people's rooms, about 6 feet into people's rooms, and which is quite dangerous, and which is also an indication that people have built too close to the waterway. Now, what some of the measures that we are taking to forestall some of these eventualities is the desilting of the estuary, so that the inflows into the sea will also be high, so that we didn't have very high levels in the waterway. But whatever it is, we need to make the inhabitants aware that it is dangerous and not safe for them and their families. So the best is for them to evacuate the area. But as much as possible, NADMO is there, the security agencies are there, the district assemblies are there, we are also there, and we all will be managing the situation to forestall any eventuality.
We also gather that you've been in a meeting with the MC of the area to discuss which of the gates you intend to open first. Did you come to a conclusion?
No, the gates are 5 and all located within one location. So whichever is open first this thing wouldn't make any much difference. Okay, so we'll be opening them at specific interval. Let's say gate 1 at a particular interval, gate 2 at a particular interval, gate 3.
Right. But
okay, and then we'll try to maintain a balance between the outflows and
Stanley,
the inflows first.
We understand that you intend to divert the water towards the Botiano gate so that the Wager Township itself will not be as flooded as we're expecting.
I think that we are not getting the issues very right. There's only one waterway, and there are 5 gates on the waterway. Okay, so which of the any of the gates that's open will not have any impact on, or can't be diverted into Botiano or whatever. It goes through one channel into the estuary and into the sea. Okay, so that is the situation.
I agree and understand that you intend to forestall any disasters or in any ill fate, but this problem happens all the time. It's not the first time. You know, people are building illegal structures in the areas. We know that we need more water. We can expand the water company so that you can deal with the excess water. So all parts of Accra, if I could say so, could get water. What are we waiting for?
I'm on another phone. Call me back after 5 minutes. Hello.
Right, Stanley?
Yes.
I'm asking. We know the problem. We know what we have to do, including expanding the water company so that you can deal with the excess water. It also includes making sure that people do not build at the places, the waterways, in the waterways. What are we waiting for?
Well said. Okay. People building in the waterways. Let's take them one after the other. Now, people building in the waterways.
Right.
Now, we all, okay, at least common sense should tell us that where we are going to develop or where we are going to invest our monies into is not the best location. That is the first thing. So we ourselves must be responsible enough not to do the wrong thing. Apart from that, it is not also within our mandate to demolish buildings in unauthorized locations.
But it is your mandate to draw attention that water is... People are building in your waterways, isn't it?
Allow me to build the argument step by step for listeners and viewers to appreciate what we are saying.
Right.
Okay. Now I'm talking on the next issue, and I'm saying that it is not our responsibility to demolish buildings at unauthorized locations. That is the mandate of the district assembly, and we have been in collaboration with them, notifying them of some of these illegal structures. Now, they are supposed to demolish them, or they are supposed to do whatever they want to do with it, and it is not our mandate to do that. I hope that one is clear. If you are also going to build at a particular location, or you're going to procure a land or acquire a land, you need town and country planning approval or the district assembly's permit to enable you build. Now, I don't think the district assembly will give anybody a permit to build in a waterway or close to a waterway or on a buffer zone. For that has been acquired by government. Okay, I don't think the district assemblies will do that. So we ourselves, or most people living in the area, have been irresponsible in the first place, and we wouldn't want to go there. Now, the other issue about expansion of the treatment plant. Now, it is capital intensive to build treatment plants, and we have plans to expand our treatment plants. Okay, now we have a dam that is able to store water for abstraction and production and treatment for distribution for consumption throughout the year. Okay. Now, no matter how we store, we still have inflows. We still have more inflows. We'll have to spill the excess water, and that is exactly what we are doing.
Right.
Okay.
Stanley.
So we are within our mandate. We are within the remits of our jurisdiction, and we are working accordingly.
Thank you very much, Stanley. Mate is communications manager with the Ghana Urban Water Company Limited. We move on with the story, staying with the water spillage and the Tetegu Basic School, which serves some communities in the South municipality, might soon collapse due to its deplorable state. The school which is within the catchment area of the Wager Dam, gets flooded after a heavy downpour. So teachers are truncating academic work to keep the pupils out of harm's way. Yafosua Jemfi visited the school and has come through with this report.
The Tetegu Basic School, established some 10 years ago, has not received any major facelift since it was built. The school has some 250 students drawn mostly from the Oblogo and Tetegu communities in the Gas South municipality. The years of non-maintenance is now evident as the school's building has developed deep cracks and the roofs hang dangerously. With the rainy season in full effect, teachers say they have no choice but to end classes whenever the rain clouds gather, as their classrooms also get flooded. After heavy downpours, pupils walk on these stones to their classrooms. But the irony of the situation is that a new classroom block under construction has been abandoned and the foundation is filled with rainwater.
The roof leaks when it rains, So the children don't actually come to school since they think the building is leaking, so it's a holiday for them, so they decide to sit in the house, and there are not enough desks in the class, and when they come, they stand. As a teacher, they have to sit so that when I'm teaching, they can be able to stare at me so that whatever I tell them, it will be able to go into their...
Some of the pupils spoke to Joy News.
Some of my friends sit on the floor, some of them to stand on the wall, some of them write in the floor.
The infrastructural challenges aside, the school is forced to shut down whenever the Wager Dam overflows its banks.
That's why the people in this community are not doing well academically because of all these petty problems. Anytime the dam is open, absenteeism, children can't come to school, so everything comes to a halt. The school can be moved from this place to another environment or another place so that the children will be safe.
Authorities in the area are appealing to government to remedy the situation.
You're still watching the Midday Brief. I'll move on with some other stories. The country is likely to undergo another load shedding exercise. This is because there is a breakdown of a plant at the Abuaze thermal plant, resulting from the last load shedding exercise. And we hope to raise Samuel Kwesi Fletcher from the VRA on the telephone line to tell us the state of work on the Abuaze thermal plant. So let's talk to Samuel now and find out from him the extent of work on the Abuaze thermal plant as we talk. Hello, Samuel.
Hi.
So tell us about the extent of work as of now. We understand that some engineers have started working on it.
Hello. Sorry, give me a background to your story. I'm not watching your program, so what are you talking about?
Right, we're talking about the Abuaze T3 plant, which was gutted by fire. One of its units was gutted by fire, and we understand that some engineers are working on it. So we want to find out from you.
I wouldn't use the word gutted by fire. I think it's inappropriate. I mean,
right.
Yes, I wouldn't use that. This is not fire that came from outside. This is fire. It's really a kind of, if you like, kind of overheating that is internal, is inherent within the itself. And it's not just the plant. It's not the plant, the whole of the plant. It's just one of the units, one of the gas kept which more or less heated. I can tell you for a fact that we know what happened, but we do not know the exact cause of that, and that can only be told when the original equipment manufacturer comes in at the weekend and examines the situation. But yes, there was some form of explosion, if you like, in one of the gas turbines.
Right, and it's being worked on at the moment.
What did you say?
It's being worked on, the units that caught fire from overheating.
At this point, what we can say is that we are still examining the situation. You need to investigate what happened. You need to get the insurance to look at it. But another important thing is that the original equipment manufacturer is coming in to see what has happened, what would have cost, and whether they are in the position to certify that we run the rest of things or not. So at this stage, it will be too early to make any conclusions.
But it also means that we are losing over 130 megawatts of power. How would this tell on the load shedding exercise?
No, I think not necessarily. When T3 was running, T2, which is TICO, was not running. Now that T3 is not running, TICO is. So the effect is basically the same. It's not an additional load shedding.
When you say it's basically the same, it means that we shouldn't expect an erratic supply in electricity in our homes?
I'm saying that nothing is changing at the moment. Reason being that when T3 was running, we were between T3 and T2. So in the absence of
I understand that T3 wasn't running, T2 wasn't running, and T3 was. But what I'm asking, so as a consumer, I understand is my electricity supply will be the same, or it will change from bad to worse, good to bad. That's what I'm asking.
I think that's exactly what I have said. That the effect is that thing is changing. So if you say there's going to be additional load shedding, that's what that there wouldn't be. The situation is the same.
So when should we look at Abuaze coming back to life?
When
should we look at the T3 plant coming back to work?
I can't tell you now. We need to know the extent of damage and what caused it even before the other machines can. Listen, I think what you need to let your listeners know is that the T3 is made up of 4 gas turbines and 1 steam turbine. It is the 4th gas turbine that has a problem. The other 3 do not have a problem. Reason they are not running is that you want to be able to understand what happened to the 4th turbine to see whether that same problem is not developing in the other 3. And that's the main reason why we have shut them down. They are not faulty at this moment, but we have shut them down because we don't know what happened to the 4th one.
Right. I think we rightly mentioned that it's just one of the units that it's caught fire, not all 4. I think we've already made that clear. But thank you very much. Samuel Fletcher is communications manager with the Volta River Authority. Now, he tells us nothing will change, even though there have been reports that the load shedding exercise will be extended because of the fire that caught one of the units of the plant. But would wait and see. You're watching the Joy News channel. This is the Midday Brief. I'll come back shortly. Welcome back to the Midday Brief. Now, this morning on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM, the Public Relations Officer of the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, Nanaya Jantwa, the former VRA boss, Charles Rekubrobe, and an advocate for solar energy, Engineer Robert Wood, shared the ideas on what needs to be done in the face of imminent tariff adjustment and better the utility provision sector of the country. Here excepts.
We put too much solar or renewable energy, wind and solar into the end user tariff, and there is a complete refusal of the tariff by the public. Then we have a problem.
Communication backbone system was solar powered across the country because it made economic sense to do so, because most of them were remote locations. If you took diesel there, your watchman would steal the diesel anyway. It was difficult to, and so the entire, this was before privatization, of the Ghana's telecom backbone of repeater stations was powered by solar. So it's not a question of all or nothing. You take the right decision at the right time. It made economic sense to use solar for those repeater stations rather than to carry, So let us be always mindful.
Advanced countries are really shifting their balance. The president, look at the war between China, America, and Europe on the solar side, because they have realized that the sun is the ultimate supplier of energy. So let us look at that more seriously, because I am totally convinced that 4 degrees above the equator, we can have all the energy that we need from solar. Totally convinced.
With the renewable energy, we have mini hydros, we have biomass, we have waste to energy. So all these sources 10% of what is generated will be fed into the national grid. Renewable energy sources to generate electricity to feed in 10% of the whole renewable energy generated. But there are two markets in Ghana. You have the regulated market.
Which one is the regulated market?
That is the ECG, VRA, where we have consumers like us, we have commercial consumers and all that.
And then there's a deregulated market.
Customers.
Who are they?
They are Gasem, Anglo Gold Ashanti, the steel companies. So if there is somebody, an investor who wants to come and generate electricity through solar sources, then for 500 megawatts, 1,000 megawatts, 10,000 megawatts, they can sign a bilateral agreement with them and they will sell the power.
But you are required by law to take
10%.
It's very clearly stated in the current policy and bills that have been passed by government.
What is
the feed-in tariff, for example? The PURC is in fact, the utilities are now obligated to take extra power generated by individuals or IPPs. That's what she was talking about. What she meant by the feed-in tariff that has been established, so that if you, Kojo, are producing, let's say, solar or wind power, and you get excess, the law is
feed it into it and get paid. Yes, I understand. But can anybody tell us, for instance, that Ghana aspires in the next 20 years we're going to do, knowing what we know, knowing all our calculations?
But the policy is there to encourage it. But at the end of the day, we are sitting here talking about tariffs. It will come down to, the affordable cost of the delivered energy. And much as I would love to see it happen, the technology is not in our bosom.
Now, the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners have held its week of celebrations, and it held a conference at which it asked governments to include them in the interministerial task force established by the president to halt the spread of illegal mining. The small-scale miners say they support the president's initiative because it is in line with the Mining Act. But today, the Hansel Group of miners has held a press conference accusing the government task force of destroying their equipment. We have been joined on the phone line by Edward Akwesi Akwakon, a member of the small miners. Hello, thanks for joining us on the Midday Brief. Hello, Edward.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Right, so what exactly are your concerns?
Well, basically, as a company, we are making a direct appeal to the President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to, as a matter of urgency, call the task force to order, because we think that the task force is actually usurping the mandate which we gave them and going beyond their mandate and actually abusing us as a company. To start with, you will recall that as part of the mandate of the task force, they were supposed to actually arrest people they suspect to be engaged in illegal mining and then